Hi everyone and welcome to season 4 spoiler territory. This is the last episode of the season. I'm gonna wrap the season up by talking about the ArrowVerse's Barry Allen, since I'm not interested in watching the Flash movie because of as I decided to finish this off by making up for all of you by just talking about Barry Allen within the CW ArrowVerse and just talk about more so Barry as himself versus Barry as the Flash. I reviewed the Flash back then, and as the show's over, I noticed that I mostly talk about the Flash being this and that. So, like, my focus was mostly on the Flash. I really feel like I haven't gotten a chance to really talk about Barry in general without his superpower stuff within him, even though that's a big part of him. I really want to shine light on what makes him him, you know. So actually, it was that he first appeared on Arrow in around December or something like 2013 or so. I think that's when episode aired or so. But yeah, it was something about the. It was before the particle accelerator happened, so it was just Barry him as himself, always running late, doing whatever he can to do to be CSI, like detective in a way. Not detective, but more. He's more into the scientific realm of things, so to see. The first scientist, there you go, something along those lines. Yeah, he's actually the way the show presented his thinking was really well done. It felt like you were watching like Law and Order or something like that, where he was like talking about the way the crime scenes are left, and it involves mere humans and also much other stuff relating to unnatural elements, because it's in Central City, which is where he's from, so there's a lot of interest in all this stuff, and it's interesting for him because he wants to gather as much information to learn about scientific things, because he wants to do what he can to. At the time he wanted to release his father, because back then his mom was murdered by the Reverse Flash, but I don't believe he knows. He did not know who the Reverse Flash is. Back then he was surprised as well. So I towards the later on when he figures out how all this is possible, and he's talking about the way they the way the show really want us to root for him is when he was narrating about the stuff that he's been going through throughout the day. It happened in the beginning of the series, just a little bit in the beginning when he was narrating. He was also talking about him as a Flash. However, I felt more connected to him that way. They stopped doing that, which is really upsetting. Yeah, they just do the episode and not talk about the narration, even though he did some narration in the ending of the last episode, so that was really a nice callback as well. So then all these things he's doing is because of the night in 2000, which we all know that he ended up going back in time, and by the whoever was controlling Eddie Dawn in the ending, Robot Blue. Yeah, so anyways, we finally, when the episode appeared about the entire timeline of the night of March 18, 2000, that was actually a really big moment for Barry, and we finally got closure on what happened with all the stuff that he needed to do. He's made a lot of mistakes by trying to think about going to the past, and he definitely faced the consequences the first time since he created Flashpoint, and then he actually had to do it. He was actually considering it again sometimes, but luckily Jay stopped him. He explained the fact that he can't keep going back in time like that when he feels like that, because that will rupture the timeline. It was explained really easily. Well, yeah, overall, he actually wants to do whatever he can to do. He wants to be. He just wants to save people, and that's including his mom. And then later on, throughout the series, he's able to realize, thanks to people around him like Joe and Iris and Sister Kaylin, about how he's able to save people as much as he can. Even when he's not wearing the Flash suit, he's actually really well spoken most of the time. He's actually really fun to. I feel like Grant really presents Barry really well here in the show, because he actually was really fun to see how things go with him. The stuff with him and Harrison Wells was actually the most interesting, especially the fact that he was the worst Flash, so then there was this betrayal element to it as well, so it really made him feel like he had reason to be the Flash and also be what he can to be himself in a way. There are episodes where Harrison Wells was really sneaky and really well thought out. He was thinking about a lot of things. He was thinking about how to destroy the Flash and Barry within himself. And Harrison has an incredible mind as well. And he really did challenge Barry and put him to his limit. And also, at the same time, he's actually helping him become faster, because it was a way for him to go. It was a way for Harrison to go home to his timeline in the future, and all these things that happen within the show between him and Barry. As time went on, he actually became more cluttered themselves really well. They actually learned so much from each other, and that's actually one of the advantages Barry had, is that he was able to destroy Harrison within by doing what he can. And however, there are certain times, when, for example, the Crisis on Earth X, when he had the opportunity to kill. Barry had the opportunity to kill with the Flash. He didn't. He let him go, and I understand why he had to do that. It was combat, and then not sure what he was thinking about, why he wanted to let him go, and it was never brought up. And I think when he faced him again later on, it's like that moment didn't happen, And also, on a side note, Dawn was also dealing with the Legends at the time, as a new face and from different type of timelines. So when in Legends, the because of the Spirit of Destiny, he ended up dying. He technically died and also didn't. So it's at the same time. So it does sound confusing for people who aren't caught up with all these things in the show, and about the timeline words, all these things. And for us Flash fans who actually watched the whole show, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And then the time wave thing, that was actually Black Flash, which was actually Zoom. So when it comes to Barry and Zoom, that was actually a real fun. That was enjoyable. That was the way. What's his name? Not Jay Garrett. Hunter Zolomon. He was able to really played his cards right with Team Flash. He really tricked them. He told Barry that he was Jay Garrett, the other Flash, and it really did his favor. And stuff with Zoom. The way he was able to, he showed actual defeat to Barry. He was actually wanted to destroy Barry, and because he wanted to be faster. Yeah, so that was a lot actually surprise. Yeah, that's how it is with that. And also at the same time, with Barry, he's been thinking about Iris a lot, and he wants to be with her and all these things. And then there was this thing with season 1 where I think it was season one, right, where Eddie like did the unthinkable and ended up he did like risking sacrificing himself so the Reverse Flash will disappear. But then it turned out that that didn't really work. It was now Dawn became someone else in a way in the timeline, so they didn't really work in his favor. So the stuff with Iris and Barry became really closer as time went by, and I'm surprised with Iris he was able to, like the thing with Barry, he wanted to tell Iris that he was the Flash, not right away, but eventually he wanted to share his secret identity with her, and there was a point where he actually had to, and then once she knew, it was all clear on why things were within those two, the way they all with each other, Barry and Iris in the beginning, where they had rocky start as well, because Iris was actually engaged to Dawn, but then she had to, uh, like grieve him, and because it was a little hard for her, so also she had to focus on her career, and then the villains were like destroying Store Labs and Central City within the in the beginning, so then that that's just what the show is all about. They actually really in this show they presented Iris and Barry really well. They fought a lot, they did a lot of things. They once they were together, they were together for all of it. They didn't. I don't think they actually broke up, right? Yeah, so that's actually they stood by each other's side, and something that I really love to see. That was actually the way they presented themselves really well, and Candace also did a great job portraying Iris as well. I don't think anyone would pull off like her, and that's actually something I really admire about this show is that the actors actually care about the characters as well. Here, mostly those two, mostly Grant and Candace, they actually understood the relationship Barry and Iris had, and they were able to express their joy for the characters they played, and they played to become a team in a way. That's actually what it should be. Once they're together, there should be a team, and they actually end up getting married, and which took a while for Barry and Iris to do it, and then remember then Felicity joined in with Oliver in the ending of the crisis or ArrowVerse's. Yeah. Anyways, which is actually interesting too. Just speaking of not just Felicity, but also there was like this character called Patty that a lot, and then there's Caitlin. A lot of fans were like rooting for anyone but Iris to be with Barry, and it's possible, but for that to happen. However, Barry didn't. I feel like this show wanted to show that Barry didn't want to become. He didn't want to choose that route because he saw something within Iris, and he wanted to become something for Iris, and it really didn't turn. It definitely worked out in the end. Yeah, so then he had disappointed a lot of Flash fans, but however, it was something that Barry wanted to become. As he wanted to be different. He wanted to be Iris's boyfriend, So the thing with the way Barry is with his teammates, of Kaylin and Cisco in the beginning, they had a rocky start. Even Cisco did, the unthinkable back then. He made a ice weapon, Force Snot, and that was used against Barry, and that's actually really hard for Barry to comprehend. Just it's like Cisco's doing he's using his brilliant invention skills, and it was used against the prisoners. He was helping them through all this, and this other Cisco and Barry, they actually got along really well throughout the series, and there was things of the thing that really made Cisco upset was Flashpoint where his brother was in from his original timeline. That had basically ended up not having a brother anymore, so just bury some mistakes, and there was a lot of things that really messed him up and messed their ways within that. And the thing is that I didn't mean to say the invasion crossover, but yeah, the invasion crossover where they met the legends and all these things. Sarah was talking to, Barry told everyone about Flashpoint, and then Sarah was upset because she wished she didn't do that with saving Laurel Lance, and then it, hopefully that little conversation there made Barry understand that he can't just mess with the timeline and mess up with his powers in a way he originally can. It won't go well in his favor, and it will make things so much worse as well. And the thing with the timeline that really was interesting as well. The thing with the Earth 2 Barry, that episode was actually interesting because we see that the different side of Barry. We saw him focus on himself as if he was never the Flash, and then we were introduced to Wally later on, and then the thing with Barry and Iris, they actually lived together since they were little, and then without Wally and Iris' life, and then Wally jumped in the picture later on, and so it really was a little bit of a tension between Barry and Wally because Wally didn't know he was a Flash, so he would think of him as someone who is hiding from danger and not facing anything until Zoom was involved, and Barry had to run and save his father. Then that really surprised Wally very well. Yeah, then they actually ended up getting along, and even Wally ended up being Kid Flash, and it really worked in his favor as well. He even joined the Legends for a little bit, so that was fun. The way Barry is with the other ArrowVerse characters such as Oliver, that was a really interesting dynamic between those two. Then Harrison and Joe didn't like the idea of Barry being around Oliver throughout all this. They knew that he was the Arrow, and I had time early on in the Flash series, but yeah, they didn't like the idea of someone who does so much dangerous things for. In Joe and Harrison's point of view, they thought that Oliver would do these heroic things for all the wrong reasons, and Barry didn't really see the same way within those two. He saw someone to allies as well, and Harrison and Joe said something along the lines of, "You don't allies him, all these things, but to us he's no hero," and they were totally wrong about that in a way. And yeah, it's interesting how someone like Oliver really helped us see Barry in a different way, and also vice versa as well. Without Barry, I don't know how the audience would see Oliver in the way he would be with everything that goes on in Oliver's life, stuff that happened with him, and his show. So every time there's a crossover, there's always something fun. They always have the fun moments as well. There was goof off, have fun, and also when they are serious, they actually get serious in a way. So the thing that was interesting is that the Elseworlds crossover, that was actually interesting as well between those two, because is that we saw them switch places in a way, and I actually really enjoyed that. Enjoyed that idea of Barry was himself, but if he took the path Oliver took, and vice versa, that would be interesting in the way that would be with Barry. I don't think Barry would ever have that much rage in that way, but however, it shows that it could be a possibility. So And there also was an episode where Barry was I mean, he dropped me. Like Oliver was talking to the monitor, asking, well, he's basically wondering if the monitor is wondering if Barry and Iris, I mean, Barry, Oliver, and Kara were all good enough for to be heroes, and really Oliver sacrificed himself because he sees something positive in Barry and Kara, and it really did work well in his favor as well. The stuff that Barry, I really loved that episode where Barry went to National City for the first time, and we were introduced to Supergirl. That was actually really fun to see. He thought he was the only impossible, and then he definitely was proved wrong. But in a way, he actually enjoyed that. He actually loved the interactions he had with Supergirl. It was actually so much fun. It really would have worked well with how the two actually had a lot of bonding moments and how they were. Even the fans like shipping those two to be together. But yeah, that was funny. There's something about Supergirl that I actually really admire when we see the times when she's with Barry or any other ArrowVerse characters. She's actually enjoyable too. She's more down to earth and Barry can sense that, and it rubs off on Barry in that way. So there's a lot of like Barry and Kara, or like the positive love being sunshine type of friendship, and Barry and Oliver are like the dark side. That's actually funny. Yeah. Crisis on Fate of Earth crossover when Barry was inside a Wave Rider and had like help out with everyone, including Batwoman and Sarah and Supergirl and Martian Manhunter and even Superman. They were all interacting with each other. It really helped see. I saw Barry differently because I saw he was inside basically the Wave Rider, which is like a time machine in a way. So a character who can go through time is also in a machine that can go through time. So it's a weird way to think about that. Whenever I saw that for the first time, it was actually something that I was like, oh, that's a weird feeling. But I feel like he had within Peter, he had that was something that really important for him to be there. By the way, that musical episode Barry and Carl did was a lot of fun. And during that time, Oliver was like being tortured. Yeah. Right. I think it was like Prometheus, right? Or something like that. During that time. And then throughout this, later on, we see him go through a lot of other challenges after find Salvatore, who's the other Devo, and Ava McCulloch, and then Ramsey and all these other, and Godspeed, God, all these characters that he's faced throughout the series. He actually ended up finding out in the episode where the crisis of Earth, in the crisis of Earth's crossover, there was a lady who was talking to Barry that turned out to be Nora, which is his daughter from the future. And then there's a thing with Barry and Iris where when it comes to Nora, it's where there's so much deep tension, and really we saw Barry in a different way. Now he's we saw him as a father figure within Nora, even though she's from the future. It still brings a big important chapter within Barry's life where he wants to be there for her and wants to make sure he can protect her in a way he can from the time period he's in, and also by keep doing what he's doing. And then there's this thing with the magazine, not magazine, the newspaper where it says he vanishes, and then it really, that was actually something for Barry to, he was constantly thinking about that, and really, And then that didn't really go anywhere, but since the show ended early, but I think the plan was for them to wonder what would happen if he did vanish during crisis in such a way. And yeah, there was a lot of things within Barry that he wanted to become, and then in a way there was a point where he actually felt betrayed because he found out that Noah was actually helping Eddie, not Eddie, he brought on with like the missions and all these things that really it felt betrayed, and then I was trying to find out ways to be on Noah's side in a way. So they really deserved that episode where Barry and Iris were upset with each other to the point where Barry took Noah back to the future without Iris saying goodbye. That was actually tensions were high with Iris there because she wanted to say goodbye to her, and Iris and Noah were a little rocky in a way, not particularly this Iris in that time period. I read in the future where Noah and that Iris, there was Noah mentioned that they didn't really get along well, and I think that so maybe in a way Noah was annoying her, and then and maybe there was a possibility for Noah to make up for the time and know Iris a little bit more when she was in the past, and there was a bonding moment that Iris from the present cherished, and it was upsetting for her that she didn't get to have more of that because of the way Barry did with sending her to the future because of Eddie. I mean, I'm not Eddie. Ebaldon. Yeah, overall, this show really presented Barry really well. It actually the things that Barry has done as himself, where the way he is with his teammates, the way he's able to understand and learn from other people, especially people who come into his team, like Chester, Allegra, and Cecile, and Albert. There was like a way to help him to understand how teamwork really is. He understood the value of that and really showed how important that is for him, and it really worked in his favor. And that's something his enemies can't fathom, is that he's able to be who he's able to understand how people are, and he has a lot of love for his friends in a way. So that's something that is what's able to that's something that makes him keep going, is the people around him and the way he's able to save Central City from danger every episode, and it really helped him in his favor. So yeah, overall, I really appreciate the Flash, and more so Barry, because he's actually someone who understands the way friendships are. Barry is a good person, and he's actually a friend, and that him and his teammates and friends had their rocky moments as well, and it really helped him understand that there's something important about the way he is with people, and it really helps his mindset understand that he's actually doing a good deed, and he's able to do what he can for his friends. So overall, I really enjoyed reviewing the Flash. I think the way his speed is. He's been going through a lot of things in the time. He's had a lot of problems with the negative speed force, and even though it's like the evil time force Noah was involved, and it really messed with him in that way. He got hit pretty hard in a way, and not just physically with his powers, but he's been, going through a lot of emotional, and it's been a emotional roller coaster with between him and the villains that affected his friends and also Iris. For example, when McCulloch took Iris into the mirrorverse, then he was trying to do what he can to bring her back, but then he had to deal with her and then try to find ways to save her without things going wrong. And then, for example, it really helped him understand that he had to do what he can to become what he needed to be. And yeah, for others, even other species as well, I almost forgot to mention Jessie Quick. She was a really fun character who was around Barry, who actually they learned from each other in a way, and not just about how use their powers, but just how to become a better, how understand themselves with how they are around Harrison Wells and other characters within themselves. So, it ends with, and then Barry and Jake Garrick, they got on really well. They actually found a way to save. They had each other's backs throughout all of this, and it would have been so much fun if we that Stark Girl in with him. I feel like those two would become really awesome friends. We all know, even though the season 9 was a roller coaster with the writing. It wasn't the best writing. It really did. It really helped Barry understand his way with the missions he had to go through, and also facing the characters from his past, and actually helped him understand how, even though the last episode, the villains didn't really do much for Barry in the way we thought it would. It helped him understand that he's evil within, and that's something that us fans of his actually admire. He actually loves being a superhero, and he's able to be there for everyone as much as he can. It really helps us understand that he's able to do the impossible. So it's best to wrap it up. Hopefully you enjoyed my discussion about Barry Allen within the ArrowVerse, and this is season 4 finale of spoiler territory. So whenever DC does their new stuff, I'll jump in for next season and talk about everything else that James Gunn is planning on doing with the new DC universe filmed in. Yeah, so hopefully you enjoy this podcast, and if you're listening, I appreciate it, and hopefully of you got nice, hopefully I wrapped the season up really well. I'm still not gonna watch the Flash movie, but if you do, it's cool. Yeah, hopefully all of you tune in next time. I do appreciate all of you who have watched my Flash reviews, and also my other these episodes as well. It's a lot of fun to do, and yeah, hopefully we can do something like this another time with another character in a way. Yeah, alright. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see all of you very soon. Take care. Bye.